This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Not sure why. Instead of sharing my screen, I keep on switching on my camera. Okay, I will share my screen. Okay. So is my screen visible to you guys? Can anyone please confirm quickly? Are you able to see?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Right. So yesterday we started with this coding exercise. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about this coding challenge. So if you see what exactly we did yesterday, right? So we actually calculated the BMI of two people. One is Rahul, second is Aman. So for Rahul, what exactly we did was we divided the weight of Rahul divided by height of Rahul, and what we wanted to do was basically do the square. So this is one way. Any other idea that we can actually do the square in JavaScript? So, okay, let me just do one thing. So this is the first way. I'll comment it out. How do I comment it out? On Mac, it is command and forward slash. On Windows, it is control and forward slash, like this. Okay. Now I've commented out and I'm writing it again. Any second way of basically doing the same thing? Anyone who can tell me? Of course, this is first way wherein we are using the exponentiation operator to do what? To calculate the square. Second option is, before I tell, I really like to hear from you. Anyone who's aware? Anyone?
Math dot power.
Yes.
Math dot
Perfect.
power. Yeah.
Yes, math.power. So that is the second option. So math is a utility object in JavaScript which provides some very handy functions like this. So in this case, what I want to do, I want to do basically the power of 2. So height of Rahul, comma 2. So this is basically going to do the same thing, right? But some of you like who are from India, we might have heard about something called as BODMAS rule. In US, we call it as PEMDAS. Okay, so in India, we follow BODMAS. Okay, it is MAS. In US, I think it is PEMDAS. Okay, so basically, I'm not sure about this PEMDAS to be honest, but P stands for parenthesis. But yeah, in India, we say BS brackets. So to be more specific, like some of you might have doubt. Yeah, in this case, this is fine, but specifically in this instance, you might wonder, should this part happen first, and then this part should happen first, or what? In this case, to be more specific, it is a good idea to have these parentheses. Now, anyone who's reading this code will be very clearly understanding that, okay, I need to do, or basically I need to perform this operation first. Whatever is the output, then I have to divide it by this mass of amount. So, of course, this is not mandatory, but it is always a good idea to use parentheses just to avoid any confusion. And of course, if at all we still have confusion, we can check on internet and then we can just see. So, what exactly is the order of this mathematical operators? So this is one. And second thing, what I wanted to talk about is, if you look at this BMF, Rahul, Aman, and this one, right? So if I just run this code, let me show you. So we see this output, but it can be a little harder for me to understand which value belongs to which variable. So this BMI, okay, yeah, I have to basically switch back and forth. So okay, so this is BMI Rahul, this is BMI of Aman, this is higher BMI. What if there is a better way to see, so that I can also see not only the variable value, I should also see the variable name. Anyone who can tell me? There's a very cool shortcut in VS Code. Anyone who can tell me this part? How we can actually do this? Anyone who is aware of this? Or no? This is something that we should all be aware of. So let me teach you something which is very nice. All we have to do is just use these curly braces start and curly brace end. Now I'm not going to clear this console and I'll run this program again so that you can compare this output with the new output because of these curly braces now. Now let's see. Is this looking better? This output, or this output is looking better? Now if you compare it, here it can be slightly hard for me to understand. Is it Rahu's BMI or is this Rahu's BMI or what? But here it is very clearly mentioned that, okay, this value is belonging to BMI Rahul, this value is belonging to this variable, this value belongs to this variable. How's this? Anyone?
Second one looks better.
Second one is looking better,
Yep.
right? So why do I use the second option? It is just for debugging purpose. Okay, so while I'm coding in JavaScript, we'll be using this console.log very, very frequently. So in this particular case, what we have to do is just use this curly brace start and curly brace end, and it is going to print a very nicely formatted output like this. Okay, so this is one thing that I wanted to cover. Okay, Any doubts so far, or should we move on to the next topic? No? Okay. And sometimes if you just put on messages in chat, I do miss at times. Okay, but that's fine. I'll keep on looking into the between. Okay. So next topic, what I wanted to cover was strings and methods. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'll create one more. Okay, or maybe inside the data types only we can cover. So if I open this and if I just close it, so can you see it is showing me in red? It means there is some issue with my code. Okay, what is that issue? Yeah, this is something. So I can simply comment it out, or I can simply even remove it. Okay, so we were talking about strings yesterday, and we were about to start with string methods. So there are some very important string methods that we have to use while we are performing, or basically when we are writing some JavaScript code, or when we are, say, writing my Playwright script, and I want to basically perform any JavaScript operation. Okay, in this case, what I can do is any string method I can use by writing like this. So if this is my string, I can write like this. I'll use a dot. Okay, so let me just comment it out like this. So I'll use a dot, and I should see a suggestion box by JavaScript. And in that case, I can use any operator. In this case, let me show you something. So if this str is my string, right? This str. So what I need to do, just press this dot. And you see, these are all the methods that are supported by strings. All these methods that are in purple color. Of course, we don't have to remember all of them, but the most important ones we should know. Okay, so what is the syntax? We simply write the string name followed by some method name like this. And with methods, we make sure that we are always using parentheses. This is a very common programming mistake that people forget to put these parentheses, and then they're wondering, how come my method is not getting executed? You have to put your parentheses like this. Otherwise, your method name is not going to be executed. Okay, so let me show you some very simple methods with strings. Okay, so I'll go back to the console, right? In the Google, I'll right click and I click on inspect. Why I'm doing here? Because it is a very simple tool. Here I just have to write the code and hit enter. Here in VS Code, I can write and I can click on this. Yeah, so it is absolutely your call which one you would like to use. Okay, so if I have a string like this, let message equal to, say, yeah, this is my string. What do I want to do now? This is a small case string. I want to convert this string to an uppercase string. What do I do? Just use this msg dot. You don't even have to remember it. Maybe I want to convert it to uppercase. So we should have a method that should have this word called upper something. So can you see? I get something like this, to uppercase. This is a method that is going to help me create an uppercase string like this. Okay. So now, what is the final value of MSG? Anyone can tell me? Is it lowercase string or is it uppercase string? Anyone who can tell me? Anyone?
MSG will
Quickly.
change. MSG will not change.
Exactly. MSG will not change. Right? Why it is not going to change? It is because I'm simply converting, or basically creating, a new string. Strings are immutable in JavaScript. So I'm actually creating a new string, but I'm not storing it back into MSG. If if I would have done something like this, can people please mute yourselves? Okay. So if I would have done something like this, msg dot to uppercase, in that case, the value of MSG is now capital Hello. Why? Because strings are still immutable. What am I doing is I'm creating a brand new string, and I'm assigning this brand new string to this variable called MSG. So what happens to the origin string? It is like a nameless string. Now there is no variable that is pointing to the actual string. So it cannot be used. So this is something that is a very important concept. So using this assignment operator, which is equal to, I'm creating a new string and assigning it back to MSG. Okay, so next method, there is a very important method called trim. So sometimes what happens is, let's say I'm working into a web application, right? And I'm fetching some text from my application, and it has some spaces, maybe some spaces at the start, some spaces towards the end. So what we can do, I can remove those spaces. How? It is very simple. So if I have a variable like this, let greeting equal to hello. So notice that I'm having one space at the end and one space at the beginning. So, and I want to remove these spaces. What should I do? It is very simple. I have a method called trim. So it is simply going to remove the starting spaces and ending spaces. And like previously, it is again going to create a brand new string, keeping the origin string unchanged. Why? Strings are immutable. So this is going to create a brand new string. But if I'm not collecting into any variable, this is just going to be printed one time, but I'm not storing it anywhere. So it is as good as doing nothing only. So if I really want to collect it out, better option is I can do something like this: greeting equal to greeting.trim, right? This is what I can do. Now if I print the value of greeting, it is actually the trimmed string. And what happens to the original string? It is still there in the memory, but there is no variable that is actually pointing to it, so I cannot use it anymore. Okay. And in JavaScript, we can chain multiple methods together. So what do I mean by that? It is very simple. Now some of you might be wondering, where do we really use these methods? We use these methods very frequently. At the moment we are just talking about building foundation. We are talking about basic building blocks of JavaScript. So as we progress ahead, and as we'll actually move into Playwright, I'll be showing you a lot of assignments, a lot of things wherein all these methods will actually come very handy. So please pay very close attention. These are very important methods, and we have to use, basically we use them very frequently. Okay. So let me create a variable called color. Okay. So, and I'm giving it some value like this. Say I'm giving some spaces here like this, and I'm giving another some spaces like this. Okay. So, and now if I print it out, how do I print? Just write the variable name and hit enter. So you see, it has retained all these spaces. So what I'm trying to do is, firstly, my intention is I want to remove these spaces, starting spaces and ending spaces. Okay. And then whatever is the final output, I want to convert the string to an uppercase string. In that case, what I can do, I can use trim method, which is going to do what? See, even though I have not hit enter, JavaScript is suggesting me that this is the probable answer. Okay, this is the probable answer. Okay, and then what am I trying to do? I want to convert this trimmed string into an uppercase string. Again, I can chain one more JavaScript method like this, to uppercase, and this is called as method chaining. So method chaining means I'm using one method followed by another method, right? So these are basically what? These are built-in methods in JavaScript. I have not created them. I'm simply reusing them. And whenever I'm reusing or using any method in JavaScript, I have to use these parentheses. And that is why I get the final output as purple. But again, notice that color variable is unchanged. Why? I'm not assigning this final value back into color using the assignment operator like this. If I want to change this value, I have to do something like this: color equal to color dot whatever I'm doing. So this is something which is very important. And yeah, some of you might be wondering what happens if there is a space somewhere in the middle of a string. In that case, they are not removed. So this trim method removes the starting spaces and the ending spaces, but not in the middle. Okay. Next, we're going to learn some more important string methods. The first one is what? The index of. Okay. So I'll be writing these methods, and yeah, I've been preparing the notes of whatever I've been covering so far, and I'll be storing all these notes in my Google Drive link. So I'll be sharing these notes with you guys. Okay. So the first method, what I'm going to talk now, right now, is index of. So it tells me where in a string a given string occurs. Let me give a very simple example. So let's say I have created a variable called TV show, and which convention is it? It is lower camel casing. First character is lowercase and all the subsequent characters are uppercase. Okay. So I'm putting a value, say cat dog. So this is my string that contains this value. Now I'm interested in finding within this string where this string is actually present. So if I look for this cat inside this cat dog, it is present at the 0th index. But if I want JavaScript to tell me that, this is how I can use. I'll write console.log, because this is not browser console. Here I have to use console.log to see something into the output. So I can write TV show like this, and then I can write dot index of. Again, see, even the JavaScript methods are also lower camel cased. Okay. So what is it I want to find? I want to find the index of cat. So the index of cat within this string is what? 0 index. Or to be more specific, I can find out like this: TV show dot index of C. What does this mean? It simply means I'm interested in finding the index. Let's see. The index is 0. So what does this mean? C character is present at the 0th index. And that is what I told you yesterday. Strings are indexed. This has an index of 0. This has an index of 1. And the final character has an index of length minus 1, which is what? 6 minus 1 is 5. So this G character has an index of 5, which is very important. And some of you might wonder, what if I try to pass an index that is not present? So suppose if I'm trying to search for a character, say Z, that is not present in the string. In that case, it returns me something which is called as -1, like this. So -1 base is basically the JavaScript's way of telling me that, hey, I'm not able to find out this character inside this string. So it is not present. Okay, so this is a very, very important method we use very frequently. The next one is what? Okay, the slice method. Slice is again a very important method and we use with arrays also. So I'll be teaching you the slice method. So if I write like this, slice. Okay, so this is slice method. So I'll comment it out like this. So what does it do? It simply basically cuts an existing string, or we can say creates a copy of a string and creates a new string. So I can write like this. It creates a copy of a string, right? So basically a new string is getting created. Okay, so how do I use it? So it is very, very simple again. So I can write like this. Let str equal to I love JavaScript. So this is my string. Now what I'm trying to do, I want to create a string basically that starts from here. So what do I want to do? I'll do what? I'll do str.slice. Now slice takes two arguments. First one is the starting argument. Second one is the ending argument. But ending argument is optional. Even the starting argument is something I can even remove. So if I simply print it out like this, it is going to create an exact copy of the string with the exact same characters like this. But what if I want to do something? I want to start from this. For instance, in this case, this is index 0, this is index 1, this is index 2. So if I do like this, str.slice of 2, and now I print it out, console.log. In VS Code, I have to use console.log, otherwise I'll not be able to find out what is it that exactly I'm trying to do. So if I now clear my console and click on the play button, you see I get this output, love JavaScript. So what exactly I'm trying to do? I'm saying that, hey JavaScript, please slice my script, please slice my string from this particular index. And this index, what I'm passing is actually included. This is not excluded. Okay, so this is about slice. What if I pass a second index also like this, say 2 comma 7 or 8? In this case, I am saying, hey, slices from this second index, but end it at 8 minus 1. So this is slightly weird in JavaScript. So this index is inclusive, this is exclusive. When I say exclusive, it means this 8th index is not being counted. The actual index that is being counted is 2 till 7. So what is 2? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the output. This shall be printed. So let me just run it now. See, love space J. So this is what it is doing. Okay, so I hope this particular part is now very clear. So the whole purpose of slice method is what? To create a copy of a string, right? And then we have another very important method which is replace. And this is something that we use heavily in JavaScript and Playwright also. Okay, so it does what? It replaces the first occurrence. What do I mean by this? Let me give you a very simple example. Say, I have a string like this. Say, uh, baseball is entertaining. So this is my string. What exactly I'm trying to do? Suppose my objective is to replace the word entertaining with another word called okay. So what do? This is my string. I can simply write dot replace. Right. And what is the syntax? Let me write the syntax first of replace. So this is what I write. Replace what? Replace with. This is how I actually understood it. It's very simple. In the first argument, I have to pass replace what? What is this part of the string that I want to replace? Here, I want to replace entertaining, right? So, okay, let me just uncomment it. So this is the part that I want to replace. And this is the second argument, which means what do I want to replace it with? So suppose if I want to replace it with the word okay. Now I should get the output baseball is okay because I am replacing the word entertaining with okay. Replace what? Replace with. But I will not get any output, right? Because I'm not printing it out in the console. So now I should get the output. So that is why I keep on switching back between VS Code and console. I mean the browser console. Why? It is very simple to see the output in that case. So now if you see over here, baseball is okay. So what have I done? I've just replaced the word entertain with okay. So next, one more example. So if I try to do like this, if I have a string, another string, say HA, HA, HA. What I'm trying to do? Now if there are multiple occurrences like this, see this string is kind of repeated twice. And now if I try to do like this, replace. What am I trying to replace? I'm trying to replace HA with something called as HE or maybe HEE. In that case, what do you think should happen? Only the first occurrence should get changed or multiple occurrences should get changed? In this case, it's very important to understand that replace method only replaces the first occurrence. If I want to replace multiple occurrences, we have another method called replace all. Okay, but majority of times we have to use this replace method. Okay, so this is what it does. So now if I simply print it out in the console, so I can do console.log like this. It should give me what? The first occurrence like this. See, only the first occurrence is replaced. The other ones are simply ignored. Okay, now we have something called a string concatenation, which is again a very important concept. Suppose if I'm trying to do an operation like this, const age equal to double quotes of 5 plus double quotes of 4. What is the output in this case? Anyone can tell me? 9?
5 4.
Correct. I get the output as 5 4 because in this case, plus operator does not behave like an addition operator. It behaves like a concatenation operator because both of them are strings. So in this case, I see the output as 54. Okay. So, and this is also called as what? String concatenation, which is a very important concept again. String concatenation. Yeah. Okay. Now, if I have another string like this, say, anyone can tell me what is the output of this one? Yeah. Anyone can tell me what is the output of this if I write this code and if I do console.log? Anyone? Is it allowed even or is it going to throw an error? And what if I try to do like this? 6. Let me execute it. First one is H, second one is undefined. So if you remember, I told you yesterday, strings are indexed. So that means the character P has an index of 0. And the last character, if it has a length of 6, the last character has an index of 5, which is length minus 1. So if I try to use this square brackets of 5, it means I'm saying fetch the fifth index position. What is the fifth index position? This character H. That is why I see this output. But in this particular case, there is no sixth index only in this case. Because the last index is what? 5. But I'm trying to search for 6. So this is again a slight weird concept in JavaScript, right? In this case, JavaScript returns me undefined. If it was Java, it throws something an exception. Okay, add index out of bounds exception, something like that. But in JavaScript, it simply returns undefined. So we have to be careful when we are dealing with strings. So we we have to make sure that we are using the right index here. Okay, so time for a small quiz, guys. So if I do like this, let song equal to, okay, can anyone tell me what is the output of this code? What is the value of song after if I run this? Anyone? If I
My
run this
heart, my
Well,
heart will go.
song, anyone?
My heart will go on.
All
Oh,
will be in output will be in capital
Uppercase.
letter.
okay, I'm not talking about the output. That is correct. Output will be in capital letters. I'm saying what is the final value of song?
it
Yeah,
remains the same. My heart will go on in the small.
Exactly. Why? Because I'm creating a new string, but I'm not assigning it back to this variable called song like this. If I would have done like this, then song was going to update the value and the previous value would be lost. I hope now this
Uh,
particular part is now clear. Yeah.
uh,
Anyone saying something? Yes?
yes, I have one query.
Yes,
What
Khalid.
is the last you explained? I didn't get exactly that assignment
Okay.
of a string. Yeah.
Okay. You mean this question only?
Yeah, last 71. Yeah, 71.
Okay.
How it is getting changed?
Yes, yes, this is a very important concept. Don't worry, I'll explain you again. So in this case, let us go step by step. I'm creating a variable called song and I'm giving it any string. Doesn't matter. See, this is just a random values, right? So I'm creating a brand new string and assigning this to the song variable. And next, what am I trying to do is I'm creating a brand new string using this to uppercase, which is a built-in JavaScript method. But am I storing it somewhere?
No.
I'm just creating a new string, but am I storing it somewhere like this? Am I doing like this? No, right? So what is the final value of song? It is still the same because I'm
Because
creating a brand new string, but not storing it back in the variable like this. In this
see,
case, yeah,
are we creating new string, a new brand string? I'm not getting. Means we are just converting those strings into uppercase. That's it, right?
no. I think you're getting confused. See, I told
Mm-hmm.
you there's a very important concept in JavaScript which is called as what? Okay, let me write it for you. Strings are immutable. When I say immutable, it means the strings cannot be modified, but I can create a new string from an existing string. So this string is immutable. I cannot change it. Okay, let me just show you like this. If I try to do like this, song of 0 equal to, I write like this. Song of 0 is what? Say h. So ideally what should happen is m should get replaced with h, right? Now if I simply print console.log of song, what should be the output? It should be hy space heart will go on, correct? But that is not what you'll see. See this output. The output is still the same, even though I was trying to change this zeroth index to h, because
Yeah,
strings are immutable. So this
immutable.
line, correct. So this line will be ignored by JavaScript. JavaScript will say, I'm not going to do this. Why? It is not allowed actually. Strings are immutable.
True.
Okay. Taking the same concept, what am I doing? I'm creating a brand new string. This is allowed. I'm not modifying the original string. This is still going to be the same. I'm creating a brand new string, right? But I'm not storing it back in the variable. So what exactly I'm doing? I'm just creating a string, but not giving any variable to point it to. So it is
Means
actually
whenever
pointless.
we
Hmm.
we are performing any action, we are creating a new string instead of
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. We are creating a brand new string. But ideally, in this case, we have to store it somewhere, right? So I should do something like this. Say, let song1 equal to song dot to uppercase. This is something I should do. Otherwise, what is the point of creating an uppercase if you're not storing it on?
Because it is immutable, right?
Exactly. I hope now the point is clear.
Yeah, it is quite clear now.
So now, if I don't see, if I simply use this method, but if I don't store it, so the value is still going to be the same. Song is still going to be this. But
Yeah,
if I do
because
like this, song
mhm,
equal to song dot to uppercase, it means I'm still not modifying the original string. I'm putting this new string in the same variable called song. In this case, now the output should be uppercase of this.
understood, clear. Thanks.
Yes, no worries. Okay, so I hope this particular part is clear. So let me move on to another quiz now. Why? Because I think these quizzes really help, and I really appreciate when people ask me questions. So let me have another variable called park. Okay, so notice something which is very careful. So, and yeah, JavaScript is case sensitive. Just be aware of this. So I'm having a variable called park, and I'm adding this string value to it. And now what am I trying to do? I'm creating another variable called index, and I'm doing something like this: park.index of stone. Anyone can tell me what is the final output? What will be the value of index basically if I simply use console.log of index? Okay, anyone can tell me quickly.
6.
Okay, who said that? Six? Is it uh, Khatib or somebody else? Who said six? Khatib, right? Okay, okay, that's a good attempt. Anyone else? Or let me ask some of you. I can see some people. Okay, Rekha, can you please unmute yourself and tell me? You there? Can you hear me? Not sure. Are you guys able to hear me, right?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay. So Priyanka, since you unmuted yourself, can you please tell me what is the output according to you? And it's okay, even if it is wrong. Doesn't matter. We all are learning here.
Yeah, I
What is
think
the output?
it's 6.
Okay. Now look at this. This yellow stone is there, right? But S is in small case. Here S is in uppercase. And JavaScript is case sensitive. Let me write it for you. JavaScript is case sensitive. Now, is your answer still the same or is it now changed?
Oh, now, yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Yes,
Right?
yes.
So
Yeah.
JavaScript is case sensitive. So the output should be -1. Why? There is no string as stone inside. Why? Because I'm looking for this capital stone. So if I clear it out and now if I click on the play button, I get this output as -1. Is it making sense now?
Yes, and if it's the small yes, then it will be 6, right?
Correct. If I now change, oh sorry, this capital S to, sorry, what happened? If I now change this capital S to small s, now I should see the output. I don't know if it is capital 6 or 5, but let us see. Yeah, it is 6 actually. Zero,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I hope now the point is clear.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now, one more question. Let me have a variable called yell. Okay, and I'm giving it a value, say, come here with this exclamation, right? And again, I'm creating another variable called index. And yeah, since I've already have created one variable above, so JavaScript is now not happy with me. It's saying cannot redeclare the same variable. In that case, let me change it to index one. Okay, so what am I doing? Yell dot index of, not index, index of exclamation. Anyone can tell me what is the output of this code now? An index of exclamation. And if I do console.log index one, anyone?
9.
Okay, 9. Okay, okay, right. Anyone else? It is correct actually. See, when I say index of, it looks for the first occurrence. Very, very important thing. There can be multiple occurrences. So I've used this second in this exclamation just to confuse. But index of works in a very simple way. It looks for the first occurrence. If it is not present, it returns -1, which is JavaScript's way of telling you that it is not present. Is it fine? Okay. Next question. Again, this is very interesting actually. So if I do like this, say this is my string called garbage with an exclamation sign, right? And now if I try to do this slice of 2, and then if I do this dot replace, I'm doing what? I'm doing method chaining here in JavaScript. I'm doing this. Anyone can tell me what is this? What is the output of this? If I simply use console.log and I print like this is going to clear a lot of our concepts. Very, very important thing. Anyone can tell me what is the output and why? Not just the output, why?
It should be beige, exclamatory.
Okay. Okay. That is close, but that is not the correct output. Anyone else want to try? You said beige, right?
R
BAGE.
Double will be removed from the string, rest would be the same.
Right.
Okay, just give
Is
me
R
a
it
sec. I'm not.
a
Who said that? Is it Geeta?
yeah,
Okay, yeah,
R
Geeta. What is the output according to you? Please tell me.
R space H exclamatory.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else wants to try? Okay, garage. Lalit is saying garage. Okay, guys, it's better if you can use a chat in this case. You can write all your answers here. Just try. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Take half a minute. Hmm? Okay.
rage, right? Rage. R space
Exactly. This is the correct answer, which is rage. Who said that? It's okay.
rage.
Priyanka is saying rage. Jayanta Mandal is saying rage. Okay.
It
Anjali
should
is
be
saying
R beige, right?
no. It is
Exclamation.
not rage. It is rage
Because
on.
we don't
Okay.
have. Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
This is an interesting question, right? Okay. Don't worry, guys. I'll explain it. So I'll clear the output now. If I see this is the output, rage with an exclamation. Now let me explain what is going on. So firstly, JavaScript starts executing from left to right. This is a very important concept. JavaScript starts executing from top to bottom and left to right. So currently we can ignore all the above pieces of code. I'm only interested in this line of code. So what happens when JavaScript starts executing from left to right? Slice of 2 will give me what? 0, 1, 2. Right? So 2 is what? Included. The output is what? RBAGE with exclamation. This is what I get with slice of 2. And then what am I trying to do? I am replacing B with what? What is this? Anyone can tell me what is this? How do I read this out? This is B as a string. What is this?
Empty
Double
string.
quotes. Yes,
Nothing.
An
this is
empty string.
called, yes, this is called an empty string. But this is not an empty string. This is a space now. A lot of beginners usually get confused. This is an empty string. Sorry, this is a space while this is an empty string. So what exactly I'm trying to do? I'm saying that replace B with empty string. In other words, I'm saying that just remove this character B only. So that my final output is what? RAGE with exclamation. This is the final output, which is this RAGE. Is it clear, guys, or you still have some doubts? Please let me know. It's a
Uh,
very, very important thing. Yeah.
could you please repeat one more time slice concept, sir?
Okay. Who's this actually? Is it Khatim?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you ask a question, please also mention your name so that I can even address you by your name. Otherwise, it becomes
Okay,
harder for me to understand. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. In this case, see, it is very, very simple. This is my string, and JavaScript starts executing from left to right. So what is my string? Garbage with an exclamation. And what am I saying? Please replace the, oh, sorry, create a new string from the second index onwards. So this index is inclusive. The first index or the first argument is inclusive. So 0, 1, 2. So the final output is what? RBAG with an exclamation. Let me write it for you. So RBAG. If I do this till here, this is the output. RBAG. So now my final string is RBAG. On this final string, I have to do this, right? So what exactly I'm trying to do? I'm now saying replace B with empty string. String is nothing basically. In a way, what I'm saying, just remove this B only. So what am I remaining with? RAG with exclamation. Is it now clear?
Yeah, yeah. Slice means when we want substring from that particular
Yeah,
index,
you
right?
can say that. Slice is like creating a substring or a shorter string. It can be of same length. It can be of smaller length also.
Mm-hmm. But we are passing that particular index. From that particular index, it will
It will
provide
start.
substring. Yeah,
Yeah, it
it
will
will.
start the substring till the very
Correct.
end.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Any other questions, guys? And I'm
Um,
really happy with
you,
these questions. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
If you go a little bit above where you
Mhm.
started teaching the methods,
Sure.
if you go a bit above,
Huh.
more
Okay.
above,
Okay.
uh,
This is where
mm,
we started with.
yeah. Then uh, I love JavaScript a bit down.
Okay. Are you saying you love JavaScript or you're just reading it out?
I'm just reading it out. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So line number 60,
Okay.
we have written console.log, and
Correct.
inside that we directly place the string in it. Initially, what we have done is we have assigned one variable called TV show, and we assign that string to that variable. But
Hmm.
here we have directly are doing the operation on the string. So first thing what we have done is we assign the string a variable,
Hmm.
and then we have done some operations. But
Correct.
in line 60 we have done directly some operations on the string itself without assigning it,
It is
right?
because, yeah, it
Uh-huh.
is because I just want to show you that this is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Even this is also possible. Here, I'm just trying to show you. Otherwise, see, I'm not capturing this value. What is the point of doing this actually?
Yes, yes,
This,
yes,
this
yeah,
is just
yeah,
for demonstration. See,
right.
I'm replacing this word entertaining with okay, but am I storing it back? No,
No, we are not storing it anywhere.
I'm
No,
not.
it's
So
just
this is just for demonstration. So in real time, I will not do this. In real time,
right.
I would rather store it in some variable so that I can
Yes,
do something later on.
right, right.
I hope now the
Otherwise, I was
point is clear.
thinking there are two ways of doing
No,
it.
no, no,
So I
no.
just want to make
This is
sure
just for
that is
demonstration.
confirmed.
Otherwise, in
Okay.
majority of cases, I'll do something like this. Okay, I'll show you. This is what I'll do. Just give me one sec. This is what exactly I'll do. I'll do say let new string equal to. This is something I'll do. Make sense?
Yes, yes,
This is something I'll really do in real time.
yeah,
But I have to
yeah.
be careful. If I'm creating so many variables, again, it is not a very good practice. Why? Because it is going to consume a lot of memory. So we have to
Right.
think from that point of view as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Any further questions, guys? And what's your good name, by the way?
My name is Priyanka.
Frank, I'm still trying to recognize a voice, so please pardon me if at all I forget it.
No problem,
Okay.
no problem. Yeah.
Okay. Any other
So,
questions, guys?
yeah, Pish, I got one question like the
Satish.
console.log. Yeah, the same question.
Uh-huh.
The baseball is entertaining. So how does it execute like internally? So baseball is entertaining. It will be on the back, and
Hmm.
then it will change the method like replace. Then
Exactly.
it will be replacing. Okay.
Yes. So JavaScript starts executing from left to right. So firstly, JavaScript sees that, okay, this is a string. On this particular string, I have to do what? This is the substring that I want to replace, and this the substring that I want to replace it with. So internally, JavaScript will now do what? It is not going to touch this origin string. Why? Strings are immutable. Firstly, always remember this: strings are immutable. This string is never going to be changed. So in fact, what is happening is a brand new string is going to be created, which is what? Baseball is okay, and this brand new string is going to be saved in this variable called new string.
Okay.
Yes, this is what is actually happening behind the scenes.
Instead of baseball is entertaining exact sentence, we can use
Hmm.
variable as well, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
We can do so many ways actually. It totally depends upon you and your preference. At the moment, I'm teaching you the concepts.
correct, correct.
So
Right. So while I'm teaching the concepts, we may see some bad approaches also. We may see some good approaches also. So bad approach, why I'm teaching you? So that you should know what not to do. And good approach is something that you should do more often.
So if entertaining is something different, for example, I have given the wrong word, then it will ignore, right?
You mean to say like this?
Yeah, if I give not if I give Piyush instead of entertainment,
This is interesting actually. So in that
so it
case, there is no such substring as Piyush, right? Okay, let me just show you. This is what is the output. See, it is going to be ignored. Why? There is no substring as Piyush. So basically, JavaScript will ignore this line,
yes,
right? So we have to be careful how we are using replace.
okay.
Yes. Any further questions, guys? I'm really happy that you guys are actually started to think regarding JavaScript methods. We are diving deeper and deeper into JavaScript. You love JavaScript, by the way.
we check this side. Is it necessary to pass index inside slice method? If we don't pass, then what would be the output there?
That is interesting again. So, if in this case, if I simply print out console.log str, this is J, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now if I do not just str.splice without anything, see, it is going to basically return the same string. Let me show you. I love JavaScript. So what is happening is I am saying now create a copy from the 0th index only. If I'm not passing any index, by default it is treated like this. Str of slice 0 is same as like this. It means slice or create a copy from the 0th index. I hope now this is clear.
Right.
So can we store that in the variable? For example, let str1 is equal to console.log in the
No,
56.
no, no, we cannot do because console.log does not return anything. It is simply printing in the output.
Yeah. Yes.
I hope now see majority of this string methods like index of and all these things like replace, they return something. So I can store it in a variable. Console.log does not return anything.
Yeah,
This
that
is
does not.
used to be used separately. I cannot equate it like this. I've even never tried it actually like this.
No,
Let
it
str.
doesn't want to say. Yeah.
This is not something that we'll ever do. But yeah, very important, interesting observation actually. Satish, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Right. So this tells me that your brains have started to think, which is a very good sign actually. Any further questions, guys, before I move on? Hmm?
Piyush, I'm Rekha. So I missed
Rekha.
some part. I don't know if you have addressed it earlier.
Yes, please.
Like you said, strings are like immutable, right? That means we
Correct.
cannot modify them.
Right.
By using this replace method and the other,
Hmm.
replace method, we can modify that, right?
No, 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 no. I think you're getting confused here. So always remember this part. Strings are immutable. It means even though if I'm using replace method, what am I trying to do? This replace is internally creating a brand new string, and on that brand new string, it is actually getting replaced. Origin string is going to be the same, which is this. Is it making sense?
Um,
Otherwise, what is the point when I say strings are immutable, but if it is still getting changed,
uh,
right? Strings are immutable means strings can never be changed. But I can, of course, create a copy of a string and I can use the assignment operator equal to and give it a new value. But that doesn't mean that original string is mutated. No, strings are immutable.
No, if
mm,
we are assigning the new value to that particular, it will unchange, right?
Yes, original string will be unchanged, but now this variable will contain the new string.
Means both will exist in memory.
Yes, that is a very important part. in Java, what happens is there's something called as garbage collection. Have you heard of this term, garbage collection?
Yes.
What happens is if there is a value that is stored in the memory, but there is no variable that is pointing to that value. In that case, Java garbage collection will automatically destroy this value, right? In this case of JavaScript also, something similar happens. Okay, so when I'm having a string like this, and I'm actually doing this replace value, and I'm now storing it back into the same variable. It means now I'm storing the new string into this variable. So what happens to the origin string? It does not have a variable that is basically pointing to this. So eventually this string will be destroyed again by JavaScript. Why? I cannot use it. There's no variable that is pointing to this string. Is it making sense, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So this is slightly deeper, I know. For some of you, it'll be too much, but don't worry. You will understand this concept. You will get these recordings also. You will get that notes also. Right. And see, this is not humanly possible to remember each and every concept, and it not that we should be able to understand everything in the first attempt. Even when I started learning JavaScript, I understood some things were not really clear. But as my understanding deepened, again, then I started to learn some advanced concepts also. These are some slightly advanced concepts. Don't worry about them, even if it is not really making sense at the moment. As you keep on progressing, as your brain is started to improve regarding JavaScript, then you will be able to understand each and everything, right? So let me move on to another topic called as string escape characters. What do I mean by that? String escape characters. Okay, so let me give you a simple example what exactly I mean. So if I come to Google, right, so basically how do I create a string? I've told you we can create strings in three ways. I can use single quote like this, and I can use a double quote like this, and I can create what? I can use even a backtick keys like this. So these are the three ways wherein we can use a string. But there's a small challenge here. If I'm creating with this hello in single quotes like this, hello, and inside hello, if I want to use double quote, is it allowed? It is allowed. See, there's no issue. Same way, okay, let me just create one more string again. So if I'm now having another string called hello, which starts with and ends with double quote, can I use a single quote inside? That is allowed. So single quote inside double quote inside single quote is allowed. But the problem is if I'm having a string like this, say Piyush in single quote, and if I try to add another single quote inside, this is not allowed. Why? Now JavaScript will think this as an ending of string. So JavaScript now is now saying, hey, what is this now? I'm not able to understand. Why? Because this is the starting of string, this is the ending of string. So what happens to this? That is where JavaScript gets confused. So never ever do such kind of thing. So if I'm using single quote, I should use single quote, which is the ending of string. But if I still want to use single quote, there's a way out. I can use an escape character like this. But ideally, I would recommend not to do this because this can make my code little harder. What am I saying? I'm telling JavaScript that don't treat this single quote as ending of string. Just treat this single quote like a normal string that I'm using. Okay. So this is called as escape character, this backslash, just to escape this so that JavaScript should not treat it like ending of string. Okay. So better way is what? Better way is use single quote or double quote like this. Say I use like this. So I'm starting with single quote, I'm ending with single quote. Somewhere in the middle, I can use double quote like this. Now I don't need escape characters. Why? I'm starting with single quote and somewhere in the middle I use double quote. Or if I'm starting with double quote, ending with double quote, and if I use single quote somewhere in between, again I don't need escape characters. I need escape characters only when if I'm starting with single quote, ending with single quote, and I'm also having single quote somewhere in the middle. Then I need. I hope it is making sense. So this can be slightly confusing. So always try to use a consistent pattern, right? Use consistent string pattern. Let me give a simple example. Say you are a five people team. One of your team member is using single quote. You are using double quote. Another person using backticks. This can lead to a lot of confusion. So you should come up with a single, you can say consensus that all of you should be using one thing. It can be anything. It can be single quote. It can be single quote, or it can be double quote, or it can be backticks. Whatever. But whatever you guys follow, everybody should follow the same consistent pattern so that it should not create any confusion. Okay. That is what I mean by string escape characters. Okay, so let me move on to something which is another very important topic in JavaScript, which is string template literals. String template literals. So in order to really explain you what this string template literals mean, let me show an example, then I'll make you understand. Say, okay, so I want to create a string with const keyword, okay, and I'm giving it a name, say Piyush. Okay, it is showing an error, so looks like I already have created another first name. So what I can do is, uh, okay, let me create one more file, say string template literals. It will be easier. String template literals lrs.js. Okay, so in this I'm gonna create this one. Can you please mute yourself? Okay, so this is one variable that I have created. Another variable is const str equal to trainer. This time I'm using again single quotes to create this second string, right? And third, what I'm doing is I'm creating another string called birth here. Okay, so let me have birth here, say 1991, which is just a fictional one, right? So again, I'm creating one more string called here. Not string, basically, this is a number. Okay, say I'm saying 2040 or say 2037, any number. So what I'm trying to do is const str, let me call it str1 equal to, okay, instead of using str here, let me give a job. So what I'm trying to say, there's a person called Piyush, that's the first name. His job is trainer. His birth year is this. His year is this, 2037. Now, what am I trying to do? Let me show you. I'm starting with double quote, and inside the double quote, I'm writing and. Again, I'm using this plus. Plus is what? Concatenation operator, because I'm using strings now. It is no longer an addition operator. So I'm writing like this. First name plus inside the single quote, right? What am I writing? Comma space A. This might look a little hard for you to understand. I'll tell you what exactly I'm trying to do. Plus, and inside parenthesis now, I'll write year minus birth year. This is what I'm writing. Again, I'll concatenate with this, say plus, I'll write space years old. Okay. Again, I'll write plus job. Now it is really hard for me to see like this, so I can click on the Explorer so that I see now a full screen view. So I'll write plus job plus exclamation. This can be really hard to read. Okay. Now, if I now simply print out console.log of str1, what is the output? Let us see. I'm Piyush, a 46-year-old trainer. Okay, so looks like in this particular case, what I can do is after this I am, let me put a space like this. After years, again I put a space like this. And now if I run it, I get this output. Again, after this old, again I need one space and I see this output. So if you see over here, I use this concatenation operator multiple times. And it is actually harder for me. So did you notice that while I was writing the code, it was actually hard for me to write this string. Why? It is such a lengthy string. So using the string template literals, what I can do is I can basically write the same string but in a more nicer and more natural looking format. How do I write? Very simple. In this case, let me do like this. So now I'm rewriting the same string but using template literals. So notice this. Const str2 equal to. For string template literals, I have to use something called as backticks. Where is the backtick key? Just below the escape key. This is the slanted quote. So I'll start with backtick key starting and ending. And here I'll write a more natural looking string like this. I am, whenever I want to use this variable, I want to evaluate it. I'll use dollar and then starting curly brace, ending curly brace. Here I'll write first name. What does I want to write? I am Piyush, then comma a 46-year-old. Okay, let me just copy it like this. So rather than 46, what I want to do, I just want to replace this with this. So I can write dollar and then this. And then years old trainer. So rather than this trainer, I want to write what? Dollar. Again, I write to write job. Now, if you compare this first string with the second string, look at this and tell me which one is sounding, or sorry, not sounding, which one is looking better? Anyone can tell me which one is looking
Second,
better? Any specific
second,
reason why second one is looking better?
because we are directly calling the
This
uh,
is simpler to read. in simple words. This is easier to read. First option, right? Any other thing? Please tell me. Any other
We are
reason?
not using any concatenation operator here.
Correct. I'm not using any concatenation. So it in this case, it is really hard for me to use so many multiple concatenations, right? While this is more a natural looking style. If I'll write a letter, I'll not use English word. If I'm writing a long statement, maybe on my copy. In that case, I'll write in a more natural way like this. I'll not use multiple concatenations, which is very hard for me. So this is more of a natural writing way, and this is called as string template literals. That's the only purpose, to make my string more easier to read. So let me just print it out for you, str of 2, right? Since I only have this piece of code, I don't have to select this entire code like this. I can just click on the play button, and you see I get the same output, exactly same output. So this is called as string template literals, which does what? We use backtick keys. If you're not using backtick keys, if I use single quote, sorry, if I use single quote like this, it is not going to work. Not going to work. So I have to use backtick keys, starting backtick keys and ending backtick keys. Then only it should work. And make sure that if I want to embed some expressions which I want to execute first before concatenation, I have to use this dollar and then curly brace starting, curly brace ending. So the value of first name will be evaluated first. Then it is going to be concatenated automatically with this. I don't need a plus operator here. JavaScript will automatically concatenate. Similarly, JavaScript will perform this mathematical operation first. Whatever is output, it concatenates automatically with this A. So basically the value of year minus birth here is what? 46. So it automatically calculates and appends, or sorry, concatenates with A. Same for this. So this is a more natural looking string, which is a very, very important concept. If you have any questions regarding template literals, please ask me. Or is it clear? But this is something that we use very frequently, not only in JavaScript but in Playwright also. Fine. Okay, so let us see some simple examples so that it becomes more clear. So if I go to my browser, I clear my console, I hit enter, again clear it out. So let us practice some template literals. So this is how I use. Say I can write like this. I counted dollar. What is the output of this? Anyone can tell me? Okay, anyways, you are seeing the output at the bottom, right? So can you see now? So 3 and 4 are going to be evaluated first. A basic mathematical operation is going to be executed. Whatever is the output, which is 7. So this value 7 will be automatically concatenated with I counted sheep. That is why I see the output of this. That is what this template means. So for this, start with starting backtick, ending backtick, use dollar and then curly brace. And then whatever mathematical or any kind of expression that you want to execute. It can be mathematical, it can be anything, right? So it is going to be evaluated, and whatever is the output, it gets concatenated. And that is what template literal is. I hope it is clear, right? One more very simple example. If I use backticks like this, where's backtick? Yeah, starting backtick, ending backtick, and I do like this, dollar, and inside I write curly brace. I can write 10 into 5. What's the output? 50. That's it. Okay. So this is about template literals, and it is a very, very important piece of concept in JavaScript. And next we have two more data types in JavaScript. So far we have seen what all data types, right? I was showing you, right? We have seen numbers, we have seen today strings. Boolean is something we have also covered, which have just two values, true and false, and we have seen strings in detail. Next we have these two data types, which is very, very simple. Okay, so let me close the string template literals, and I'll okay. Can anyone tell me how do I close this terminal quickly without clicking on this, without clicking on this cross button? Anyone quickly? There's a shortcut in VS Code.
I
Anyone?
think Control L.
Control N. Yeah, please go on. Go on, go on. Control N. Backtick key. See, Control and backtick key. It's gone. Can you see? If I do Control and backtick key, again I see terminal. If I press Control backtick key again it's gone. So it's a very handy shortcut. We don't have to remember it, but once we'll start using it more often, we'll automatically remember it. Right? Okay. We have two last data types, which is called null and undefined. What are they? So null means, anyone can tell me? Null means intentional absence of any value, and null is also explicit. When I say explicit, it means a variable can never have values null until and unless I assign this value myself. That is the meaning of null. And undefined is something that is implicit. So undefined is implicit. Let me give you a very simple example. Say I create a variable called num, like this. What is the initial value of num? If I simply print out console.log of num, the initial value of num will be undefined. See, so that is what I mean. Undefined is implicit. It is implicit means automatic. So if I create a variable but don't pass an initial value, by default it will be automatically undefined, which is implicit. It can never take the value as null, right? But I can assign null explicitly like this. Let num equal to null. Now if I print this value, it should now print what? Not undefined. It should now print something called as null. Make sense? So that is what I mean, right? So null is something which is explicit, and undefined is something that is implicit. So null is something we have to set explicitly, right? Let me give you one more example that will make things more simple for you. So I can do like this: let logged in user equal to null, right? So what am I saying? I'm saying value is explicitly nothing. I'm explicitly passing this value, right? So this is what it means, right? And then finally, I want to talk about something which is a very important concept again, which is called generating random numbers. Because sometimes what we do is when we are say really automating some stuff, let's say I want to automate creating a user, but the problem is what if I'll use a user initially, I'll not be able to use the same user again. Why? Because my application is designed in such a way that if I'm using my name, say piyush@gmail.com, one time it is allowed, second time onwards it is not allowed. It will complain that this email is already taken. In that case, what should we do? Should we go ahead and delete in the database and then recreate it? No, that's a very poor approach actually. In this case, we can generate random numbers, and I can do like this: Piyush 1, Piyush 2, Piyush 3, or any random number, say Piyush 100, whatever. So this is the purpose of random numbers: generate random data. Okay. So in JavaScript, we have something called as math utility object, which helps me use some very important methods. So can you see? We have something called as pi, and why it is in complete uppercase? Because it is a global constant. So global constants in JavaScript are completely uppercase. Okay, and math is a utility object, and this is how we use it. Okay, so now in order to generate random numbers, we have something called as random. Okay, so this does what? It generates a random number between 0 and 1, where 0 is inclusive and 1 is exclusive. What do I mean by that? It means value can be 0, but it can never be 1. Let me just print it in the console, it will be easier that way. So let me clear it out. See the output of math.random. Again, up arrow key, again. Can you see the output? It is always a fractional number, but it is not 0, not 1. It can be 0 in very rare cases, but it can never be 1. See, it is now very close to 1, but it can never be 1. Okay, so now I can use this mat.random to generate a random number. Say I want to generate a random number between 1 and 100. I can use this and I can perform some mathematical operations. Okay, so this is something what we are going to do. So for that, we need two methods, which is very important before actually teach you math.random, which is what? Math.round. I'm sure you must have heard about math.round or simply round method. So what does it do? If I have a number, say 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, it is going to be rounded to what? See, 5, right? Anything beyond 5 is rounded to the next nearest number. But if I have a number, say 4.3 or 4.2 or 4.1, it is going to be rounded to 4. So it is very simple. So it simply removes the fractional part and just gives me the whole number. Okay, this is called math.round. I have one more important method in JavaScript, which is called math.flow. Right? What does it do? If I have any fractional value, say 3.567, it simply removes the decimal part. Whatever is there, it doesn't round it. It simply chops or removes the decimal point. so that I'm left with 3. So why am I teaching you this? Because in order to really generate random numbers, I'll be requiring both these methods. Not both these methods. Round is something very important. Floor is something that we'll actually use. Okay, so this is something that I would like to cover tomorrow. But before that, I'm ready to take questions now. If you have any questions, guys?
Use, can you go back on the string part where you have declared the duplicate is character in the string?
Okay, Javier, right? Okay, yes, Javier. So okay, yeah. Tell me which particular line you want me to go to?
Where you have assigned hi, I think. Yeah, haha. Console.log replace dot. This is
You mean this one?
replace first one only. How we
Huh.
can replace entire string in this?
Okay, so firstly, okay, we have a method called replace. It replaces what? It replaces
Replace
the first occurrence. Okay, if you want to replace multiple occurrences, we have another method in JavaScript, which is what? Replace all. Can you
all.
see this? Replace all. This is what it does. This is something I am not going to show you. I really want you to find out because I've shown you this. This is very simple, right? Try to understand what is this replace all do. And I have actually prepared to a couple of JavaScript assignments that I want to share it with you. That is going to reinforce whatever we have learned so far. Is it
Right.
fine? Okay. Any further questions, guys?
Yeah, hi. Could you please explain a random number of function one more time? Because
Definitely.
I can see that I'm not able to understand the upper parameter and lower parameter you are passing in
Okay, okay,
between.
okay, okay. I'll tell you. You're able to see my screen, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay. So math.random does what? Firstly, math.random generates a random number between 0 and 1. Okay. This is the first thing that you need to understand. It generates a random number between 0 and 1. Where,
By default, it generates.
sorry, please come again.
No, no. By default, it generates between 0 to 1. If we will not define anything, let's say I have to define generate between 0 and 100. Then,
Okay, 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 okay. No, no, no. It doesn't matter. By default, it always generates a random number between 0 and 1 only. It can never cross 1. It can never go beyond 0. Okay.
okay.
Yes, let me show you an example again. I think you are getting confused. Don't worry. So this is math.random. See the output. I'm not passing anything. By default, it is going to generate any random number between 0 and 1. It is always a fractional number. So this number is actually between 0 and 1, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Another number. See, this is also between 0 and 1. This is also between 0 and 1. So the number is always between 0 and 1.
And if I want to specify the range, let's say 0 to 5, then
No,
in
no,
that
no. That is not possible. Okay. See, random number can only be generated between 0 and 1. But if you want a random number, say between, say, 1 and 100, that is what I want to show you. But this is something, anyways, I've overshot the time, right? So I'll not cover this today. I'll cover this tomorrow, actually. But yeah,
okay.
for now, just understand that I can generate a random number only between 0 and 1. But there are ways how to generate random number between 1 and 100, or maybe 1 to 1000, anything. I can teach you. I'll teach you tomorrow this. But at least this particular concept is now clear.
Yeah, yeah.
Zero.
Means ke by default it will generate between 0 and 1 every
Only.
time.
Only.
Yeah, only. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any more questions, guys?
Piyush, there is a one more question related to the replace. Please clear it.
Yes, Javier.
Go on that
You really like
point.
this replace method, I guess, right? Go on.
So let's say I want to replace only a third index of hi, right?
Huh.
So how do I do that in with the replace function?
Okay, what exactly you want to do basically? Please come again.
Third one, not first one,
Okay, you want to replace the third one, not the first one.
right?
Okay, is it actually possible, firstly? And this is something I wanted to actually give it to you. So I would not answer this question, at least for now. But right, see, this is a very important question, actually. So this is something I really want you to figure out. It is not difficult. See, I'll be very open and honest. It is not at all difficult. Okay, all we have to do is just understand how these methods really work. So just understand that replace method replaces the first occurrence. Okay, so replace method does not replace the last, or sorry, middle or the last or any other occurrence. Okay. Hello.
Yes, Piyush, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So any further questions, guys? Okay, so if you have no questions, I have prepared some small assignments for you. So the first assignment is what? Password strength checker. I'll be sharing this PDF actually in the group. It is a very, very simple one. So see, you want to create a string called variable called password, add some any random string, and just removes the leading or trailing spaces. This is something I've anyway shown you, right? So if the password length is at least 8 characters, this is something I've also shown you, right? Use dot length, right? Ensures the password does not contain the word password, right? So for that we have another method called includes. That works very similar to index of, right? So this is a very, very simple one. Second question is BMI comparison with random fact. Just read it out. It is very, very simple. Okay, so here you have to use mat.round and toFix. Okay, so here you want to generate random weights. Previously I gave you static or fixed weights. Here you have to use random weights. You can try it out using mat.random. Okay, next one is string method master. Here trim the sentence, replace the second JavaScript. So here you will actually really now go with the second one. Okay, find the index of something, slice it out, output the final string. This is variable rules quest. So if you actually execute this right, it is going to clear a lot of your concepts even if you have some doubts at this moment. So this is your assignment number one. Second assignment is this one, right? Where you want to create a couple of variables. Okay, rather than me reading it out for you, it is very, very simple. Just read it out. It is all self-explanatory, right? I'll be sharing both these PDFs on the WhatsApp group, right? Try to do this. If you have any doubts, any questions, do ask me and I'll be happy to solve them for you. Is it fine, guys? But I think these assignments are really going to help you to really reinforce whatever we are learning in JavaScript. Is it fine?
Piyush, can you share this PDF now itself? I mean, at this time?
Yes, yes. Exactly what I'm saying is like immediately after ending the call,
Yeah, oh, yeah, that would be good.
I'll be doing
Thank you.
it right now because anyways it is 10:18 now. I'll sleep afterwards, so I'll forget it later on. So it is better to do it right now. Okay.
And
So
could you please share the course content as well? Because I didn't find anything. What we
okay.
are going to cover.
Okay. Okay. So Khatib, what I'll be doing is I'll be sharing this course content in the group. I'll do that right away. So I'll
Yeah.
be sending you the PDFs and I'll be sending you the course content as well. If you have any
Okay.
doubts, any questions, please do let me know. So in the course content, you will not see much about AI. You will not see much about frameworks, but this is something that we are going to cover in depth, not just frameworks, but AI also.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, right. So looks like it was a pretty good session actually. So thank you so much, guys, for for a very good involvement, and I really appreciate when you keep on asking questions. Now the only thing that I expect from you is please do practice whatever I'm sharing with you, right? Because more practice you do, the better your learning will be. Otherwise, you'll forget all these things. Because at this moment you are just seeing me writing this code. It is my practice that I'm doing actually, but I really want you to practice. Okay. Yes, Priyanka.
Piyush, the recording of the session will be shared straight away as well?
I don't think so because recording takes time to process.
Right. Okay.
Recording takes some time to process, and most of the people from Isha training, so they are usually gone after 10 o'clock. I think they are done for the day maybe after 8 o'clock or something. So I think somewhere in the morning, whenever they see the recording which is processed, then they upload it to this YouTube channel, which is actually
Uh-huh.
a private channel, right?
Yeah.
And then they share it with you.
Okay. Okay. No, I was thinking to do the assignment, and
Okay,
I
okay,
might need the the recording to see
okay.
and then solve the assignment and take.
And
So
one
that's
of
why
you was
I'm asking.
mentioning yesterday that you have made the payment, but somehow you didn't get the confirmation. Is that person still in that group? I'm not sure. I forgot to ask who that person
That's not me. That's not me.
is. Is it you only or somebody else?
Might be someone else, not me.
Okay, somebody else. Is it there or not sure? Never mind. Okay, so looks like we are good for today. Right, so I'll see you guys tomorrow then. Right, so keep learning, keep practicing, and then some of you are still pinging me on WhatsApp group also, and some people are pinging me in private. So whatever it is, doesn't matter. Whenever you have a question, do reach out to me. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye
Piyush.
bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Good night.